During this talk today, we will share some knowledge about what is called the tailoring, so the adaptation of standards to specific need of a project. So we'll focus on the tailoring of system engineering processes and go down to the tailoring of the Arcadia methodology itself. Yes, so I'm a senior consultant of the Capgemini, what we call System Engineering and Architecture, so SEA team. And we are in charge of several activities for in several industries. Now we'll focus on this on our organization for the Capgemini Engineering. Then I will share with you why it is necessary to adapt before starting a project at system engineering process level. So I will describe you some topics about the tailoring framework, some topic about the tailoring of system engineering processes, and also some topic. Today we will focus only on the Arcadia method, but we are able also to focus to tailor system engineering method, and some word about conclusion and some way forward. In fact, our system engineering and architecture team is composed about 60 people with several clients, several industries. So I will show you a map of our client and industries, but our main skills is to deploy system engineering activities on architecture, including activities for the management of system engineering to identify what kind of system engineering we shall deploy for a company or for a specific project, identifying the system engineering methods, and also help a client to select the most appropriate toolchain. And also we are using MBSE during several projects, several long years, and including the usage of Arcadia Capella, of course. And close to this system engineering and architecture team, we have an internal research and innovation project called ECSE, so ECSE for Efficient and Connected System Engineering. And today about the tailoring, we are really in the frame of efficiency. And we have several axes of research and innovation. So some axes about system of systems, some methods for the architecting of systems, some other part about the value-oriented MBSE, so MBSE oriented on what is efficient. Some link between system engineering and safety assessment, a link to close to MBSA. Some topic about variability, product line engineering, behavioral modeling to support simulation, and also some eco-design approach, including biomimicry. So with feedback coming from a real project from our client, and also from activities in our research and innovation project, we capture and with this we built some kind of tailoring framework. I will describe for you at process level and also at method level. Today focusing on Arcadia. Now, our organization for system engineering in our team is a part to manage the setup of system engineering for companies or project, to be able to select what is valuable for the company or the project, to identify what kind of process we shall deploy for a company or a project, what kind of method we shall deploy, also to help our client to select the most appropriate toolchain. And as we have some feedback coming from several industries and several clients, we can have a kind of cross-fertilization approach between several feedback coming from several projects. Then for system engineering deployment, the objective is to support the deployment of system engineering for our client, for the team of our client, with a set of training and coaching. We have about a training path of about 30 modules, starting from the low level modules about system thinking, system engineering, introduction of the system engineering processes, first step of MBSE, first step of requirement engineering on VNV, and also some training modules about more advanced MBSE activities, and MBSE with SysML, MBSE with Arcadia Capella, and some other tool, and also more enhanced modules about the system of systems, variability and product line engineering, and also some training about the preparation of certification, so OMG certification or also INCOSE certification. And for the system engineering operation, the objective is to run system engineering activity in our premises with the day-to-day activities on model or with requirement or with VNV activities for the need of our clients. So we have a large organization in the frame of this system engineering and activity and architecture team. Now we can see a large cartography of our experience of the deployment of system engineering and MBSE for several kind of industry, so aeronautic, railway, space, energy, defense, and so on. And we already use Arcadia Capella in several clients, for Stellantis, for ITER, for CEA, and today we have two main projects for SNCF and Deutsche Bahn using Arcadia Capella. Now, a focus on why we shall adapt the main standards. In fact, the INCOSE System Engineering Handbook gives us this sentence to be: we shall adapt the main processes to be sure that they meet the need of the company or the need of a specific project. In fact, we cannot deploy all the standards without any preparation at the first step of the project. So we are really in the frame of the management of the system engineering. Some keyword about the tailoring, so we shall be really value-oriented, so focus on what is efficient for the project. Things that we shall be realistic about the deployment of system engineering and to deploy only what is necessary for the final product and system. The objective is not to deploy system engineering, is not to deploy MBSE. The final objective is to design the right system. In fact, models are means for system engineering, and system engineering is also a mean to design the right system. So we shall keep this objective as a main target. We shall design the right product. And some means, so we have some try to focus on what is valuable. So what kind of topic that can give you value on the project. Sometimes it's preferable to go first on what is risky, what is new, what is innovation, instead of starting a model on any kind of part of the system that is very there is no real innovation. And sometimes interfaces is a good way to start on what is risky, because we often have some problem with on the poor definition of interface, so external interfaces or between the system and external entities or internal interfaces between the subsystem or the component. So in fact, yes, we cannot apply a single set of process for all the needs. So we shall one size fits all cannot be a solution for all the problem. It's why we have such kind of tailoring framework. Now, this tailoring framework is composed of several layers and several steps I will describe, but the real objective is to move from what is generic down to what is really applicable for day-to-day activities for each project. To be very pragmatic for each project. So we have layer for process, method, and tool layer, but today together we will only talk about process and Arcadia method layer. So at process level, we have two main standards that are very generic. I will focus on. So the ISO 15288 and the INCOSE System Engineering Handbook. So this is our main day-to-day book. And for the deployment of the system engineering on a concrete project, we shall tailor, we shall adapt and describe what kind of system engineering we deploy on the project. And we do this in a SCMP, System Engineering Management Plan. So it's not an initiative from Capgemini. There is a lot of document talking about SCMP. So SCMP shall be very concrete for a project. And to switch from what is generic at process level down to what is concrete at process application on a project, we have defined several steps, several cells of this tailoring framework. First one is about complexity grid, so it's a way to evaluate the complexity of the system. Another one is to have a model of processes. I will describe this. So a BPMN process model based on the system engineering processes. So BPMN for business process modeling notation. Processes are also linked to data as input or outputs. So we have also a versatile, so a large system engineering data model with several concepts I will show you. And to support the production of a specific SCMP for a project, we have a template of SCMP helping to centralize all information that are tailored at process level. And at method level, so we have so today I only focus on Arcadia, of course. We have several documents about Arcadia, but there is an official document, is the AFNOR standard for the description of Arcadia. And the objective at the end for the application for the project is to have a concrete MBSE method that we can apply by the project team on the project. And to do this, we have several steps: a cartography of the Arcadia layers, a cartography of the concepts for each layer of the Arcadia method, and same thing for the views, cartography of views for each Arcadia layer. So those three first steps of the tailoring framework at method level allow us to select what kind of layer, what kind of concept, what kind of view I would like to have in the deliverables of the MBSE activity for the project. And also we have a kind similar to the SCMP template, we have a kind of template of MBSE method to allow to produce the method itself for the project. So at tool usage, we can also have future work to be able to adapt to tailor the Capella tool itself. Today we have some guidelines, some sheets to help the user to use Capella, but in the future we can also plan to have to adapt the Capella tool with the development of specific plugins, for example. But today we will only talk about the steps of the tailoring framework at process and method level. Now at process level, 2023 is a great year for the updates of the system engineering standards, because we have a new version of the ISO 15288 for system and software system lifecycle processes, so in May. And in July, we have a new version, so the version 5 of the INCOSE System Engineering Handbook. And of course, both documents are in line together. So two main updates. Those documents contain a lot of information about processes and activities and steps, and also a large source of knowledge to apply system engineering on project. So on both documents, we have a cartography of about 30 processes, so decomposed into 4 main family of processes. So at project level, we deploy those three family, and there is a specific family of processes at enterprise level. So technical processes is a classical set of processes starting from the initial need, initial mission analysis, down to requirement and to architecture, implementation, integration, VNV, transition if needed, operation, maintenance, disposal. But I know that all those processes are not run in a sequential way, of course. Close to those technical processes, we have technical management processes that are used to manage and to manage the technical processes. So with topic about planning, about risk, about decision, configuration, measurement and quality, and so on. And also at project level, we have some process for the contract with clients and stakeholders, and also contract with the supplier if you decide to buy some part of your architecture to another company. So, and at company level, we have common processes for several projects. So common processes in charge to manage common resources for infrastructure or human resources, the management of the set of projects or portfolio of projects, the management of the knowledge according to the feedback of coming from several projects. And in fact, if we have a kind of findings, some kind of feedback on those two main documents, you can see about 500 pages of document in those two documents with a description of 30 processes. Those processes are decomposed into 111 activity and so on, down to a large number of elementary tasks. So we have a lot of documentation, difficult to apply those 500 pages of documents for all projects. And those documents are mainly focusing at process level, so process level. And with such kind of graphics, for example, for a focus on the system requirement definition process. So we have a list of activities inside the process, the list of inputs for this process, and the list of output for this process. So you can see here that it's difficult to understand what are the inputs useful for the first activity, what are the useful inputs for the second activity, and same thing for the outputs, what are the output for this activity, and so on. And another findings is about the tasks. So the elementary description of tasks are mainly done by text, by the textual description in the document. It's why we have defined a BPMN model according to these findings, to those findings. In fact, we shall adapt what is generic to what we need for specific deployment of system engineering for each project. So according to the large cartography of process, we are able to select what is useful for us, and the objective is to be very efficient on the deployment of system engineering for the project. In fact, is similar to any kind of activity. We shall plan before run. And also, as the system engineering is a multidisciplinary approach, and this is a classical definition, we shall also gain the confidence, the membership of the project team, and to be sure that all people are in line with the objective of system engineering for the project, by the steps, the main gate, and the deliverables, and so on. And there is several reasons to select or not some processes for a specific project. If a project is very innovative, it's necessary to start at the beginning. For example, we deploy system engineering on the Hyperloop TT in Toulouse, so it's a very new project. So we shall start at the beginning of and define the mission and the mission on the expected needs from the stakeholder. If it's recurrent, sometimes it's not necessary to come from the first processes. If the project will only focus on the concept, so it is not necessary to go down the implementation of VNV and operation and maintenance, for example, even if we shall take into account the maintainability during the definition of the requirement and the architecture, of course. If we are working on the same need in case of obsolescence of technologies, for example, so we shall rebuild a new architecture or a new design based on new technology with the same need. I think about the transition from 4G to 5G, maybe similar need, but with a new technology, a new solution. And in case of retro-engineering, if we have the system is already done, and we want to come back and to rebuild system referential, in this case, we will come back on the architecture, then come back on the definition of interface, definition of requirements, and maybe come back on the initial need. So we can select processes according to the context of the system. So first step of the tailoring framework for at process level is a kind of complexity grid. So it's a way to characterize the system type and also several topics about the complexity. So it depends of for example, the number of stakeholders, the number of external interfaces, external actors, external entities. Maybe also some topics about the maturity of the technology. We talk about TRL. It's different according to the maturity. If the system is safety related or not, if there is a constraint about costs or duration of the project, if there is some several alternative of architecture and so on. So this is the way to characterize the complexity of the system at the end. Next box is about this BPMN, so Business Process Modeling Notation model. So the objective is to move from what is textual in the ISO 15288 and Nicosia handbook, and so we built this model with several layers. So you can see here the 4 main family of processes. So we can navigate into the model. So I can go down the set of processes inside the technical processes family, for example, with the links between the processes, and also for each activity. So we have 4 family of processes decomposed by into processes, decomposed by activity, and those activities are decomposed by elementary task. And for each activity, so the first decomposition of processes, we have several SIPOC. So S for the source of the flows. So I for the input. So the list of flows that are for the input of the process or activity. Here we are at activity level, the input and the consumers. So we are able to navigate into this BPMN model and to decide, and to it's helpful to decide what kind of process or an activity I plan to run for the project or not. Today, this BPMN model is at activity level, is not at task level. Now another steps of the tailoring framework is what we call VSEDAM, a versatile system engineering data model. So it's a complete cartography of the concept used by the system engineering process. So inside the 2 main system engineering standards. So we identify a set of concepts. There is about 70 elementary concepts that are grouped by main family, the context, the environment, the requirements, the 3 main layers of a classical system engineering approach, even if it's not in line exactly with Arcadia, but operational layer, functional layer, physical layer, and some concept about VNV. And those concepts are characterized by attributes, and also there is also some semantic relationships between some concepts. So the objective is to link a concept together and to be able to have a semantic link between concepts, and to say, for example, a function is embedded into a functional architecture, or is used in a functional scenario, or to define the functional breakdown structure, the FBS. The function is decomposed by a new other function. So there is a recursive semantic relationship between the function concept and itself. And also there is some link between the family of concepts. A function is also allocated to a physical component. In Arcadia, we will have a logical component, but here this is at process level. But it's similar. The objective, it's the same objective, is to be able, according to this cartography of concept, to be able to select what is useful for my project. Now, the objective is to to centralize all the knowledge tailored at process level inside a single document for the project. So inside system engineering management plan. So SEMP is similar to a PMP, project management plan. The objective is to define what we want to run before starting the project. I often see a lot of projects with PMP that is never applied, never known by the system team, by the development team, the system team. Now the objective here is to define, to communicate, and to be in line for all the projects, for all the project team, for the concrete application of the system engineering on the project. So the objective is to be very applicable, to be simple, clear, and pragmatic. So we have a template of system engineering with the objective is to define a subset of the data model. So the data model applicable for the project. What kind of lifecycle development we want for the project? Well, is it a classical V or is it a more iterative life cycle? It depends. The list of system engineering processes with their activities, with their input-output. So a subset of what is generic. Same thing for the deliverables, to identify all the deliverables produced by the system engineering processes and activities. So it can be documents, specification or description of architecture, specification of interface, or MBSE model, VNV document, and so on. The role and responsibility that are with the equivalent skill for each role to deploy system engineering and to run the system engineering processes to be able to deliver the deliverables. And also we identify what kind of system engineering method we'll apply. So some method for requirement engineering, some method for VNV, but also some method about MBSE. We'll talk about Arcadia after. What also some word about some chapter about what kind of toolchain we deploy for the project, toolchain to support the activity, and also some KPIs in order to follow the health of the project into dashboard. Now, if we go down the steps of the tailoring framework for the tailoring of the Arcadia method, so we have a kind of consistency between the technical processes and the several layers of the Arcadia approach, and also some, in fact, all other steps and layers of the Arcadia method is able to support other processes during integration and VNV. The objective is to go down what we select at process level and activity level down to the MBSE level. In fact, the MBSE method is here to as a solution of what we have decided to deploy at process and activity level. We shall also be in line by with what we define as objective at objective and deliverables at the PNP level for the management of the project, and also at SEMP for the management of the system engineering. And the main message is to, yes, we shall plan before starting. Plan before act.
Yeah. Bruno, just excuse me. We have 5 more minutes until we address the questions.
Okay, thank you. I will. So for the tailoring of the layers concept and views for Arcadia, we have several criteria. Sometimes it's difficult to, according to the maturity of system engineering for our clients, sometimes it's difficult to start and to use operational layer, because it's difficult sometimes to understand that the system is not here. According to the approach, we can only focus on the objective of the models. We can only focus, sometimes we only focus on the black box approach, or a black box then white box. So it's a way to select the most appropriate layers in Capella, in Arcadia. It depends also on the objective of the project, if we only capture needs, or if we also architect the system. the solution of the system. If the objective is to also to generate documents, so we will not select the same thing. If we stay at system level, or if we also describe and modelize subsystem, so sometimes it's necessary to have a kind of transition between system of subsystem. If we plan to deploy a part of the system engineering to another subcontractor, sometimes we only select the logical architecture and not the physical architecture. Some in the frame of some projects, sometimes we have a poor low level of formalism, or sometimes the model is prescriptive, so it helps us to select. So, so a way to select the most appropriate layer. So we select what kind of layer we want to deploy. Next, similar thing, we select what kind of concept for each layer we want to use in the deployment of the MBSE Arcadia method and Capella tool. We shall be in line with the objective of the MBSE, and also shall be consistent with the selected layers. Same thing for the selection of views for each layer. So what kind of view I would like to have, a LAB, SAB representation, or for my deliverables. So I select what kind of view I would like to have. Same message, we shall be in line with objective, we shall be in line with selected layers and selected concept. And the objective at the end is to be able to have a concrete MBSE method, so based on a kind of template of Arcadia MBSE method with selected views and not selected views, selected concept for each layer. And all of those is a result of the tailoring at Arcadia methodology level. Next message, few messages for the conclusion. The objective of tailoring is to be very pragmatic, applicable. The objective is to apply what is valuable for the team, for the client, for the people. Sometimes it's necessary to adapt the language to be in line and to be to communicate with the stakeholder involved in the project. So MBSE is not a mean. The main objective is to build the right system. System engineering is a mean, and MBSE is a mean for system engineering. So in fact, MBSE model are a kind of mean for a mean. Next step, we are not in line with the latest version of the ISO 15288 and also the INCOSE handbook. The objective also is to have more feedback coming from more industries and more projects, and in order to enhance this tailoring framework. And also, I talk about this today. We are not talking about the tailoring of the Capella tool itself. It can be a new adaptation of the tailoring framework with the development of new plugins if necessary. A last word before your question. In fact, less is more. The message is we can focus on what is valuable, what is necessary. In fact, that can give you more value than instead of deploying a lot of activities, a lot of processes on a project. Now, yes, I'm very happy. If you have some question, I will give you some information for the response.
Maybe let's start with this one. Can you give some examples of typical systems engineering KPIs for those of us who
yes,
haven't seen any examples of that?
For example, we can have two different family of KPI. We can have numbers. So for example, for Capella, we are able to extract the number of objects for each layer. So we select what is useful for us, and we can follow the number of functions, the number of external entities, the number of logical components, and so on, with a drawing each month. So it's a KPI to following a number of objects. Sometimes there is no real value to follow because we don't know if we want 100 function or 1,000 function for the final in the final model, but it's a way to follow a kind of progress. Another KPI can be a quality KPI to follow, for example, how many functions are allocated, how many logical functions are allocated to logical components. It's a classical quality rule in system engineering. Each non-decomposed function shall be allocated to component. Instead, your final product will not have the function. So this is two main family of KPIs: absolute numbers or kind of percentage of ratio of quality rules.
Okay, let's see. Another question here by Andy. Do you apply any rules or guidance on knowing when to stop with the level of detail in the model? So to define the granularity of your models, if I understand right.
Yes, to decide when we shall stop the decomposition, for example.
Yeah, yeah, as I understand, yes.
Yeah, yes. We in a lot of projects we notice that there is no real indeed rule to say yes. Now I shall stop my functional breakdown structure because I am not at system level, and I go down to the subsystem level. In fact, the main rule is to say if I decompose one function into several sub-functions, and if all the sub-functions are allocated to the same component, in fact, it's a good reason to say no. It's not a good idea. I decompose my function. It's not a good idea to decompose this function because I do the job of the team in charge of the component. So the rule can be this one. If all the subfunctions of a function are allocated to the same component, it's not a good thing. I shall only keep the mother function. It depends on the organization. If the project is only the objective is only to stay at system level, or if we are only also in charge of the development of the design, the architecture of the subsystem. For some projects, for example, we are working with consortium, so it's very difficult. It's very important to manage the boundaries of responsibility between the several enterprise inside the consortium, to be sure that we not go down the responsibility of another company inside the consortium. In fact, this boundary is based on the definition of interface. Definition of interface between system and external entities, or definition of interface between the subsystem or components.
Okay, there's this question by Slim. So how did you validate this tailoring framework? And then the remark that he thinks it reduces the expressiveness of the Arcadia method by removing the first and last layer.
Yes. I think we have often a problem with the first layer, the operational analysis, because some clients are not aware to talk about only needs coming from the stakeholder, and not talking about the system itself. So it's why sometimes we reduce the usage of the operational analysis, and also the usage of the EPBS, for example, because we don't go down the latest layer, because we stay at maybe at architecting levels. We often use stop at logical layer, and then we are able to extract what is useful for each subsystem. So the list of function to prepare a kind of statement of work. So a statement of work for each subsystem at logical layer, to extract the list of function for each subsystem, the list of external interfaces for each subsystem, and the same thing for the requirements. So for some project, we define some kind of hybrid documents with some part coming from the Capella model, so based on LAB and so on, to define statement of work for each subsystem. In this case, we not go down the physical architecture layer, for example. So, but this framework is in fact is built with experience, experience coming from project, and also experience coming work done during our research and innovation project. So it's why in the next step we plan to use and have more feedback coming from a real application of this tailoring framework on some other projects, on some other industries, of course.